Black and white grayscale studies. One of my favorite artistic ways to study a subject, plan a piece, or even sketch with. Why do them? What's the point? Well, do you ever get overwhelmed with beginning with color? Whether you're using a new medium, or simply have no clue which color to pick? Don't worry, there's a way to overcome this. I've put together 7 outstanding benefits of using black and white studies in your art practice. In this video, we'll be putting on our grayscale goggles to discuss their importance, and by the end, you'll be convinced to try them out for yourself in your very own way. Black and white studies can be done in any medium. There are absolutely no limits to which medium you can use. I personally like sharpening my skills in different mediums and have tried a few, but here are some of my favorite combinations. Whether you're doing drawings with graphite or charcoal or pastel, paintings with gouache or watercolor, acrylics or oil, even markers. There are so many possibilities, so there's no reason not to try it and put it into practice. After studying in art school for over 5 years, in some of our classes, we did not move on to color until a few months or even a year of only making studies in black and white using various mediums. And after those years of plenty of experience, I can't stress enough how much they've become part of my practice and how helpful they were for me. I even shared some of my tips with my patrons, and I'll be including some of their feedback on black and white studies as we go on. First and foremost, seeing in black and white helps you see and break down subjects into shapes. That's right, setting your subject or reference to black and white will allow you to see the contrast of values a bit more clear. In every colorful image or scene, there are hidden values. Values can be described on how light or dark something is. I speak of values in almost every single one of my videos because I truly feel that when you have at least 3 present, a highlight, a medium tone, and a darker shadow, it creates significantly more depth in your artwork. To further demonstrate how you can clearly see the shadow shapes, after setting my image to black and white, the lighting is a bit more prominent, and without the distraction of color, it becomes much easier to visualize, which then becomes easier when translating into a drawing. Check out the clear geometric shapes that you can build from the shadows. We can also see that the light source is clearly coming from the left. I love this simple tip of helping us see, and I think you'd benefit from it too. Here's some common feedback from one of my patrons. I'm so glad I was able to bring this into light. This brings me to my next tip. Black and white studies allow you to get to know your medium with a little bit less stress. Having the ability to just work in grayscale will eliminate any nerves or stress that can come when beginning with color. I almost always get asked, Jess, I don't know where to start with acrylics, or I don't know where to begin with oils. I'm not sure which colors to use when I'm using colored pencils or markers. And I'll always reply to just begin with black and white or any grayscale and then start to play and experiment. For this sketch demo of the reference in the previous tip, I'll be using this gray tone set from Ohuhu. They sent these over for me to try, and they're the kind sponsors of today's video. Now, although I've used their markers before and I'm pretty familiar with how they work, I was eager to try their gray tone set because this is probably one of my favorite ways to sketch. Markers allow you to work quickly and get as many drawings done as possible, and working with gray tones just makes it that much better. When it comes to black and white, I highly recommend learning how to mix your own gray tones, but in this set, it actually comes with different variations of grays, some blue tones, some warm tones, and some very, very nice green tones. And you can think of it as the colors being mixed for you in a nice compact set. And speaking of compact, I can definitely see myself taking these on the go for some ballpoint sketches to mix and layer with, and also while urban sketching. And I love alternating between the brush and chisel tip. I can get some nice thin lines by going delicately with the brush tip, and I love the chisel tip to start out with because I focus on the big shapes as mentioned before. If you've been watching my channel, you know I really love mixing media. I love adding a little bit more texture and definition to the sketches, and color pencil is perfect for this and does awesome at layering over alcohol markers. I also love using ink or ballpoint pen over them as well. The objective is to make as many sketches and studies as possible to continue practicing and getting to know the medium. And the beauty is, you don't need much. You can create a full black and white sketch with just one simple supply. I also have a video where I show ballpoint pen sketches and how much I love sketching with just a black ballpoint pen, and I'll have it linked just in case you want to check it out. Continuing with number 3, the simple fact that black and white studies are super low pressure allows you not to get discouraged too quickly when doing your artistic practice. We all have our go-to subjects we enjoy practicing in our sketchbooks or simply taking a piece of paper and getting lost in the zone. For me currently, I love portraiture, and regardless of the medium, I always bring myself back to some black and white studies. I think they're a great stress-free way to draw or paint. And many artists, and I do this as well, start off with some tonal sketches or tonal paintings to make sure that they're not getting too caught up with the colors. Here I also experimented with layering the markers over some watercolor. I wanted to keep this very soft and fluid, and the combination did a great job with that. The goal is less pressure, more studies. And speaking of more studies, a great way to save time in your sketches is to use toned paper. Toned paper really allows you to push your values of highlights and shadows. Since it already comes tinted, it allows you to think about how you can push the values in the shadows, but also you can use a white pen or pencil to punch out those highlights on top. There is a sepia tint or a gray toned paper, and I really enjoy using markers and then adding some graphite or color pencil on top. I'm constantly working on toned paper to try different studies of portraits and also get some ideas flowing with some pieces I want to plan. Here are some more sketches I did in art school with charcoal, which is the first medium we started out with. These are all drawings from life, and oh boy was it helpful before moving into color with pastel. Here's another drawing that I did of a more detailed study in graphite, slightly different tone. I absolutely love getting lost in the detail and shading with graphite. Another incredible art supply for some black and white studies, and I think a Patreon of mine agrees. Believe it or not, I like to plan out my drawings when it comes to be more detailed, which brings me to the following benefit. Next is an element that's part of my creative process, and that is the thumbnail stage. While I do enjoy spontaneous sketches on a full page, since it allows me to work freely and quickly, thumbnail sketches, which are enclosed in a shape, allow me to figure out values, composition, and lighting. You probably recognize this piece, but here are some examples of the lighting that I figured out before moving on to the finished piece. Simple grayscale black and white studies can make your color studies better. If I didn't take the time to figure out the lighting in the fox during the thumbnails, I most likely would not have been able to implement it in the color stage. One of the reasons why I love doing little grayscale studies when getting into more complex pieces. Here are some more sketches which are being developed into finished paintings, and some more smaller graphite sketches, which at the time I set myself goals to make sure I improve. Here are some more black and white sketches from my 100 heads challenge. I mixed tons of different media, and so many of you tagged me over on Instagram and shared your process and how it has inspired you. And the fact that it's reached you from all over the world is so incredible. And it warms my heart to know that I've helped in some sort of way. If you found the video helpful so far, leave a like below as it really helps support the channel. Another great way to practice black and white studies is doing silhouettes. There are no gray middle tone values involved in silhouettes. Instead, when practicing, using a black marker is best to just focus on the overall shape that you see. And it's super beneficial because we focus on the negative and positive shapes. And you may recognize this from the 12 drawing exercises video, but I can't stress enough how great it is to practice this in black and white. Super beneficial. Did you know that black and white studies make a great base tone? To help best explain my point, I want to share the process for an oil painting that I did. Working in black and white can allow you to glaze over your pieces. I started out with a really detailed sketch and then toned the panel. I won't get too much into this as I have other videos on this topic, but I approached this painting with a method called grisaille. Grisaille is a method of painting in gray monochrome, and you basically start off with only black and white and you block in the whole painting. Here you see me filling in fully the black and white study, and once that was dry, I slowly began glazing in color. And since I had that base layer underneath, it really helped bring it to life. I like to glaze over sketches with other mediums as well. You may recognize this from my Positive Prompts Justober series. I started off with a really nice sketch, and then I actually got my watercolors out and glazed with watercolor on top. With different experiments and time of practice, I found methods that worked best for me. I also loved adding ink into my sketches. Getting lost in cross-hatching is one of my favorites as well. Just in case you're not yet convinced of the benefits of black and white studies, I have one more bonus for you. Just the fact that it's extremely versatile and in a way compact makes me excited to use it. You can do it anytime, anywhere, and they don't involve you to carry much. All you need is your favorite black and white pen or pencil or paint, and you're good to go. I spent almost 10 years commuting in New York City to schools where I was born and raised. Here are some of my ink sketches right on location with just a pen, and while sitting on the subway for almost 3 hours every day, what better way to spend the time than to draw the beautiful people around me? With practice, time, and dedication, and many hours and years of experimenting, I truly feel my attention to detail grew, and my skills began to flourish along with my ideas. I'm truly passionate about the way I feel about black and white studies and including it in your practice. It's great for all levels, which is why I wanted to share it with you in this video today. I think it's often overlooked, and simple ideas like this, which I mentioned in the 5 ways to fill your sketchbook video, can be mixed and matched to make finished pieces or even planned sketches. And when practicing in black and white, you'll gain more confidence when jumping into color. Whether you're practicing your favorite subject in your sketchbook, doodling some patterns to have fun, drawing your surroundings, capturing the moment, or even creating finished paintings, practicing in black and white and grayscale provides benefit for it all. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I also hope you enjoyed taking a look at some of my sketches from art school. Remember that the possibilities are endless and it's all in your hands. If you like videos like this, be sure to subscribe so you never miss out. You can find my website and my Patreon in the links below. And what are you waiting for? It's time to pick up that pen, pencil, or paintbrush and get to creating. Thank you so much for watching once more and supporting, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!